to the show, listeners. My name is Jason. His name is Brendan.
Hey, how's it going?
And we are the Joystick Boys. Today, show number 1. We have Blizzcon happening the same day as our show number 1. I mean, is that not
It's
perfect?
Destiny, yeah.
It is Destiny, not the game Destiny.
Thank God it's not Destiny 2. But
But today we're going to be going over BlizzCon, all the announcements. We got, I think the most hype is probably the Overwatch 2 new class.
yeah. I don't know if you're joking or not, but sure.
And we got some D4 announcements, some WoW announcements for Classic, Retail, and my favorite announcement is Warcraft Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
If only we had some fake applause to fill it in.
Or a lot of money to play it.
True, but we'll get to that coming up soon. All right, let's get into BlizzCon, which was the huge event of the day, what every 40-year-old is trying to latch onto from their nostalgia to keep them coming back into hopefully live another day in the world of Azeroth. Here we are, BlizzCon. How you feeling, Brendan?
Pretty good. I think this is the first one in 4 years, right? Like in person.
Was it because of COVID?
That's what they want to say, but it's probably because they didn't feel comfortable having one. So.
True, because of like all the sex stuff.
Yeah, or lack thereof from the people playing it.
Oh, all right. Well, today we had day 1 of BlizzCon, North America, Anaheim, California. And we had, I think it was around about, it says 11 a.m.
Yeah. I think it was 12:30 there, 1, something like that. Yeah.
All right. So that was the opening ceremony. And
With Philip Spencer was there.
Philip J. Spencer. Of course, their new acquisition, or Microsoft's new acquisition, was Blizzard, which was a huge deal, which means WoW on Xbox Game Pass.
You'll see Thrall in the next season of Halo.
If I see Thrall in the next season of Halo, what does even that mean? I don't even know. Are they still doing seasons of Halo?
Yeah, they just released like a Flood one, like the Flood from Halo 1 through 3. Yeah, it's like Flood, kind of like cosmetics. I actually plan on playing it tomorrow.
All right. Well,
I just didn't want to say it.
You didn't want to let me know.
Yeah, that's for our segment down the road.
All right, fair enough. So, with BlizzCon opening ceremony, of course, we all know that they want to get one thing out of the way quick, and that's Overwatch 2. So they start the ceremony with Overwatch 2, and what do we have? We have a new class.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Maui from Moana.
Yep.
And he is here to save Overwatch 2.
What's his actual name in the game? Is it like Maguana?
I don't think it's Maguana.
I want to say it's like Maui without getting sued. It's Maga. Maga. Magua. I think that's a gremlin, isn't it? Or is that
Mogwai is a gremlin. That's right.
That's the next season's character.
Yeah. It's Maga.
Yeah.
Not MAGA, but
yeah, close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah.
So MAGA has I didn't even mean to say MAGA.
Yeah, so
how does he say it though?
Of course, the character with MAGA has 2 Gatling guns attached to his arms.
Yeah, of course. We need more guns.
Yeah, he has 5 per arm.
So his one arm is called Gunny, and it's an incendiary chain gun, and his other gun, his right gun, is called Cha Cha, which is a
yeah, nothing says Hawaiian like Cha Cha.
Yeah, it's very Spanish Hawaiian. It's a different dialect. So my biggest thing is, I guess there's still a community that plays Overwatch. I mean, I come back to it during some kind of holidays here and there,
or every other season.
Yeah, something like that. But is my question is a new class needed, and is a new class going to bring people in to save the game?
See, I don't like when people say save the game. Like, it depends like what you view. It's like save the game as in like monetary reasons, because I think it's actually making them a lot of money. But the general community, like I think the general community always hates Overwatch, even when it's good. It's kind of like people on Reddit where they're the biggest fans, but also they hate the content that's provided to them. So I don't think anyone's ever happy. But I think financially, at least like last time I looked, it actually is doing well.
Like leaving a negative review for a game that you've spent 1,000 hours in.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's kind of like, it's like, hey, this, we love this game, but it only sold 1,000 copies versus we hate this game and it sold 10 million copies. Like most businesses would prefer the negative reviews with a lot of money. So
right, and so the class is apparently playable now.
Is it now or is it like tomorrow?
No, I think it's actually now. I think they announced it was going to be after the opening ceremony. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I find interesting to come back to, I'll come back to the saving the game topic, but I thought it was interesting. Switch actually, Nintendo Switch leaked the new class an hour before opening ceremony.
Oh, that's crazy. If it's not a Switch, it's or Nintendo or some like platform, it's usually like a Canadian Walmart. So I guess it's
check out this new class, eh?
Yeah. So it's usually like a Canadian Walmart or something that's like, luckily it's a store within the hour, so it's I guess not too crazy.
So I'm just more like, I don't know if I'm not a part of the Overwatch community. I don't play the game. But
you played enough to have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. But like from kind of an outside perspective, a little bit, does that make me want to go back and play it? I mean, there's an inkling to where I'm like, yeah, I mean, that would be fun.
Yeah.
But am I going to download it, get in, rage quit after an hour? None of that part to me weighs heavier than trying out a new class.
Oh yeah, I think it's like the one thing that gets me is like I always view certain games and like, can I play that solo or is the fun portion required to like to have friends with your team?
Yeah.
Like playing, say, for example, Valorant solo is like the game where you want to put a bullet in your head versus with your buddies where it's like you still want to feel that way, but you communally want to feel that way. Yeah. So it's just like, okay, like that's a game where you kind of get behind because your friends are playing. It kind of helps like the zeitgeist kind of vibe of it. Yeah, the Overwatch 2 where it's just like, I could do that if like my friends played it, but as in like I don't like sit at work like I got to get home and try that new character. Yeah, it's just not. I don't know if that's a thing that people are feeling with this.
What would it take for Overwatch to appeal to people like us?
I don't know. It's like I like this. The season pass stuff. People hate on it, but like I actually prefer it. Like
over the loot boxes and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't like randomness. I like having like a targeted goal. Kind of same what the achievements are to an extent. And I think, in my opinion, for games like Overwatch 2, even though like I hate on Destiny sometimes, at least it has like a side like, hey, you're doing PvP and doing stuff like that. But there's also like this stuff where you kind of chill and just do stuff on the side. Like
almost like some PvE stuff.
Yeah, PvE. But it's just like, but I don't want it to be like super grindy, but it'd be kind of cool to like, hey, do these like little missions with this character and you get like some extra skins. Like it doesn't have to be elaborate as long as it's there,
See, what drives me to want to play, and it's unfortunate because when Overwatch 2 was originally announced, there was going to be a full-blown PvE campaign.
Yeah.
And when they realized that wasn't going to happen, and then they told all of us, we already knew it wasn't going to happen, that really kind of put a damper on what Overwatch was. Yep. Like, okay, this is just a number 2 on the same game, lol. But the thing for me is when they recently did, and they've done it in the past, which is kind of a PvE mode for like Halloween.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that stuff, like, I enjoy that.
We always went back for that.
Yeah. And that's actually, they did that, I think like a season ago, is they had a mode set up and it was PvE that relied on your team, to do their roles, like the triad kind of stuff. So I think for me to get back into Overwatch, it would take something like that. But also, like you said, I would be a lot more inclined if I had other, like a friend group that would want to do it as well.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's one of those things where like sometimes you play a certain style where you wouldn't even try to do something different unless you see a friend do it first. And I think Overwatch 2 kind of would benefit for something like that as well.
Yeah. So. And hopefully, I don't know. they have to know based on player numbers that the event stuff for PvE kind of brings people along. But
oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so going back to the BlizzCon rundown, that was the first one. I mean, from a watcher, I could tell immediately that let's get this one out of the way. Let's just go ahead and get this one out of the way, and then we go straight into Diablo 4.
Oh yeah, what's the expansion called for that? They announced
it is the.
Yep. the swamps of Louisiana.
Yeah, no, it's like the viral of hatred.
Yeah, the viral hatred.
Why did I put that in there? Fuck me.
Yeah, I think it showed like the kind of jungle scene, looking at some like temple.
Okay, so the new D4 expansion that they announced is the Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah.
I was quite close, so don't break my balls.
Yeah.
And we watched the trailer. It had Mephisto talking through, it sounded like some girl is trying to go through what it looked like a dungeon like a jungle
like
landscape.
Amazon
the Amazon kind of style. So I'm stoked. I love Mephisto. I love his voice. I thought the story of D4 was really fun to play through the first time.
Yep, for sure.
So I guess with the new, and there's an announcement that with the new expansion, there's going to be a new class that they're going to bring in.
Yeah.
So I think we were going to ask each other what your prediction would be for the new class based on the trailer that we saw for the expansion.
I would say apothecarian. No,
like a witch doctor.
No, a guy who just makes potions. It's like you stay in town and craft. You actually don't go outside. No, but I think
so. We're bringing in a trading system.
Yes, because then Cody would play.
Yeah, because I think D3 tried to do like a trading system that didn't really work out.
The auction house stuff. Yeah, I think of course, I think it'd be Witch Doctor because they kind of hint at it through the campaign with that one chick that helps you, and of course them showing like swampy type things.
Yeah.
So I think it's either like Witch Doctor or they do like they like to rename it. They'll be like Ghoulie
Mask Girl.
yeah. Ghoulie Mask Girl.
Jungle Bitch.
Yeah. So nuts. I would put money on it's Witch Doctor, but they've did more curveballs in the past. So
yeah, I hope it's something different. Like I think what we kind of wrote down some predictions for Witch Doctor based on the trailer alone. Obviously, you have Monk and Crusader, which were D3. Monk being a part of the retail release, and then I think Crusader was the first expansion.
No, was it?
I think so. And then I think the next expansion they did the Necromancer.
Oh, it was like a mini expansion, wasn't it? Yeah, or it was like a little island or something like that.
I could be wrong on that.
No, it was Crusaders, the main expansion, the paid one. And there's like an update later that's just Necromancer.
Well, yeah. Well, then they released that whole that was like full blown DLC. Not like that was a full blown like expansion.
No, it wasn't. Third one wasn't. They only had one expansion. It was Reaper of Souls.
I thought that sounds like. Anyways, digress. I don't know. I hope for something new because like I personally still play D4. I've been playing the new season.
Yeah.
When I get a chance, it's kind of one of those games. Like even with D3, I played like if I ever don't know what game I want to play, and I kind of get into that option paralysis mode.
Yeah,
Diablo is one of the best games to just load up because you can just start killing shit, and you're thinking in the meantime like, damn, what do I want to play next?
Yeah, I want to play Diablo 4, but like I think the in-game stuff was so like. It never gave me a vibe to like, yeah, I'm jonesing. 100%. I'm jonesing to play it.
100%.
I never got that. It was more like, I feel guilty that I'm not playing it. Maybe I should. And you do it, you're like, I don't know about this. And you just you scroll through your Steam library looking to what install next. So
yeah, I completely agree. I think with Season 1, I definitely felt that. I think with Season 1, I had a glimpse of hope. Thinking like, because after beating the story and getting to endgame just within the initial season or the initial game, you kind of realize, okay, I'm just going to run nightmare dungeons until something else comes out.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate. There was really no endgame, and I thought with Season 1, it was so planned in advance that all of the player feedback, it couldn't get implemented until starting of season 2.
Yeah.
So with season 1, my goal was I'm just going to like blow through the battle pass just because I still want to play.
Yeah.
And it gave me a little drive to play. Plus with the like the pre-sale shit, you got the first season for free and stuff.
Quote, quote free. Yeah.
Yeah, quote unquote free.
Yeah.
Buy the $8,000 edition, you get the first battle pass
You
for
get this
free.
motorcycle for free. Yeah.
So I would say though, I'm having a good time playing season 2.
Yeah.
I think that you can tell that they're learning a little bit about what an end game or what would make an end game fun.
Yeah, like a loop.
Yeah, and like the boss ladder loop, just different mechanics that can kind of spice up the normality of running the same shit because nobody wants to do that except for like super hardcore people that want to be like number 1 out of number 1.
Yeah, I would say like when I watch Diablo 4 videos of new stuff, this reminds me how much I would want to play PoE 2 instead.
Yeah,
so
no, I get it,
and I don't even really like PoE 1, but the PoE 2 videos I've watched literally look like they listen to like the things I complained about, like, hey, let's fix these things.
Yeah,
and it 100% feels that way.
Yeah,
so.
And I think, I mean, we don't know when PoE 2 is like officially going to come out.
2037.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me to to be playing through like the first season and like the the original game release, this is the most fun I've had since. I mean, it's not the most fun I've had since playing the actual initial story and getting to 50 and stuff like that. But what I do like the vampiric powers that they added. It just kind of spices up, and the gameplay is a little bit faster as far as like leveling up. And now you're overpowered in a way, but it feels good. And they're like, yeah, we're just gonna let you have fun there.
Yeah.
And who knew that we just wanted to have fun?
Yeah, just like the girls.
Yeah, girls just nice 80s pop song reference. I love it.
We're sponsored by Barbie. No, we're not.
So yeah, I really like the latest season, and I hope they keep going along with adding new quality of life features like they did with season 2. So they did mention season 3, but they mentioned it and then said, yeah, we can't go into any details.
Yeah,
so
probably tomorrow.
Yeah. We can't go into any details yet.
Yeah.
Wait for 24 hours.
Yep.
And then they said the new expansion is going to launch late 2024. So this time next year, we'll see. Does that mean like
they'll probably want to stagger it?
Two more seasons, maybe?
I'm guessing it'll be like they'll stagger one season will be the WoW release, and like right after a month or two it'll be like the Diablo thing. That's just business metrics reasons. So
yeah, I guess the player base was dwindling. I think it probably picked up a little bit with season 2 just because of the quality of life stuff. Yeah. Not to keep talking about Diablo, but I've just been actually playing it, so I have some thoughts for once.
Yeah. And plus, like it's like I think they kind of go about the design where it's like ebbs and flows. I think after Final Fantasy 14 kind of like said that out loud.
Right.
Other companies like, hey, it's okay to do that.
Right. And that was one of the things that the Diablo 4 producers were like, hey, yeah, it's okay to take a break.
Yeah.
And it's like, and deep down, no, it's fucking not.
Yeah.
We don't want you to take it. Yeah, we want money. We want you to be in our universe. You're not taking a fucking break.
Don't take a shower. Don't sleep.
I want you to smell and be sticky.
Yep. Sticky, but
yeah. So they also announced a tabletop RPG alongside of that. I think that was a little quick note as one of them was walking off.
Yeah.
Not really 100% sure about what that entails.
Yeah, I think they're going to go over that more tomorrow as well.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be like.
It's called Dungeons and Diablo.
Dungeons and Diablo. So like a board game, but then you have dice, like 20 scenarios.
Yeah, it's like a D20.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't know. It is a Diablo like fan base? Would they be into stuff like Critical Role kind of shit, like Dungeons and Dragons?
I feel like if you're into that, you would just do the thing that has a 40-year history at this point. But who knows? So
yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to get into that bandwagon, I guess. But
plus, Chris Metzen's like really into that stuff, so maybe he has something to say in that field. Even though it's a Warcraft, but let's be real, he probably has a very strong opinion in Blizzard as a whole. So,
which leads us into the next topic of BlizzCon. which was the WoW segment.
World of Warcraft
World.
premiere.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like the Xbox gaming thing, right? So.
Yeah, that's when Philip Spencer was. That's exactly.
Games.
He used to legally say games 15 times per minute.
Games
are
for the gamers within the games inside of all of us.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I'm glad he's kind of taking control of that. Like, if I had to choose a person to kind of be the helm of a studio, it would definitely be him. So, because he actually plays
exactly.
Shit,
That's exactly what I was about to say. So. You want somebody that is going to lead like the franchises that you live off on that actually plays them.
Yeah. Or the exact opposite. Like Shigeru Miyamoto with Mario, he's like, I don't play those damn video games. I just make them and go home and garden. You're like, what?
True.
So,
what if Mario was a gardener?
Yeah, that's just Pikmin. He just had to rename it.
True.
But yeah, the WoW stuff looks pretty cool. Like, I would say, was it the Season of Discovery is the new thing?
Yeah, so they originally went into the WoW Classic. I know WoW Classic is super hot, super popular. Not something that takes my interest.
Yeah, I did that 18 years ago. So, and back then I was like, please God, can we like get to new expansions? So,
which. I have a friend that does play WoW Classic, and he tells me that he works and then goes home and raids, and that's all he does.
Yeah,
and I can't do that, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I remember doing that in college, and even when I was in college, when that's much easier than a work-life balance. That was stressful then. So I can't imagine, because let's be real, when you raid to that level, it's only 20% fun and 80% stressful progression.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you program where 98% of the time you're programming and you hate it, but the dopamine kick for that 2% when it activates is so good. You're like, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, when you see that ball finally bounce at the end with the physics that you put in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they came out with an announcement that WoW, Classic WoW, is going to have a season kind of progression system, which is going to be the Season of Discovery. And so what it was is basically a level 25 cap, and they're going to do it like how, games do seasons.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a level 25 cap, and then at the end, there's going to be an end game dungeon, but it's like a raid.
Yeah, it's like the original entry level 5-man dungeon. They're retooling it to have different mechanics, bosses. I think rewards, but are they just reskinning stuff? I don't know.
Yeah. So I honestly, this intrigues me a little bit because I personally never experienced Classic WoW. I never experienced World of Warcraft until actually I met you.
Yeah.
Because when we met...
I'm sorry.
yeah, it's fucking your fault.
Yeah.
When we met in college, you had already been playing WoW. Yeah. And I have it on my Battle.net account. When we first became friends is actually the day that I made my Blizzard account.
Oh.
Is because it was a day before my birthday. And so I think your birthday gift to me was introducing me into the crack known as World of Warcraft, which is a weird gift in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when we met in college and we started to hang out and wanted to play games, outside, you had been playing Warcraft for years.
Probably 6-7 years by then.
Yeah. So
I actually enjoyed 2 of those years.
To me, jumping in, I don't remember what expansion I jumped in at, but I know
it was Legion, right?
No, it was before.
No, it was Warlords of Draenor.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So I remember doing that, and obviously creating a new character and being in an MMO is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And so anyways, going back to the point, I never got to experience, what Classic WoW was. And for me to hear when Classic WoW was coming out, it didn't appeal to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to spend the time to just grind my ass off to get to level 60 and get 100 gold or some shit. I'm just not I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
But this kind of intrigues me.
Yeah, I think it's them kind of so you're going to have 2 camps like this. You're going to have one camp that's I don't want to be capped at 25. I want to just have it where I can just go to 60 and just do the thing. But I'm on the boat where it's like, hey, knowing that it has a cap that's that low,
Exactly.
that's actually like, the person who has, I'm not saying people don't have lives, but like the idea of going, go to work, come back, and it's like, hey, I can probably get half a level, do some RAM stuff in this, and actually do something. Then yeah, 100% would do it.
See, that intrigues me. And another thing that intrigues me is when games or companies add in seasons to games, they add in a little bit of a mix-up factor.
Yeah.
Look like kind of what I was saying with the Diablo 4, which is, things are going to be a little bit faster.
Yeah.
You're going to have, your abilities are going to be a little bit different. You're going to, it just kind of tweaks some things to where it's like, it doesn't make it such a terrible classic, I'm playing a game from 1998 process. And that intrigues me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I would say the thing, it's probably kind of a weird thing to say it's the most important feature. But the one thing that he said that actually intrigues me the most is that there's no PTR. Everyone goes in blind and has no clue what's happening. So there's no guides the day it comes out. Everyone's just like, hey, what's this about? So in a weird way, people are kind of experiencing classic in a different way where it's kind of unknown. And for me, when I play games, the unknown portion is actually what excites me.
Yeah.
And it's kind of getting to later, the Super Mario RPG, they're retooling stuff, they're adding stuff, and I'm avoiding all the news about it. I just want to be surprised when it happens.
Yeah.
But I will go back and hey, read guides once I've interfaced with whatever the new things are. And that's what the WoW Classic excites me. These weird little tweaks and stuff. And
yeah, and I think what you also have to understand, not you, but from their perspective, is maybe somebody like me.
Yeah.
Somebody that I do play retail WoW. When the expansions come out, I play before to get caught up. I play the events to get caught up. I play the expansion for a couple months, and then it falls off. Everybody falls off. Yeah. And that's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
But people like me that are always looking for an MMO to kind of jump into because we want that nostalgia, we want that, escape.
This kind of sounds perfect.
It does, because it also, what I'm saying is they're thinking about shaking up the meta.
Yep.
And thinking about kind of redesigning maybe the classic, not so much out of what it is as a foundation of what it is, but kind of switching it up maybe for people like me that don't have the time to, or don't want to sit there and fucking grind for a month, day in, day out, to get to that certain point. And I think that is an awesome idea.
And I would say another thing is kind of adds to so you played Warlords of Draenor. Luckily you started playing when it was actually pretty good, oddly enough, the end of it. But you almost can go back and experience the stuff that's and see how it was back then.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, you might actually respect retail and what's changed since then, or hate it more, but whichever. But I think I respect retail more once, I go back, I was like, oh yeah, some of the stuff was terrible. I don't remember it. I think my brain erased it because it was trauma.
Yeah.
Kind of like Final Fantasy 11, the entire game. But I love Final Fantasy 11. But yeah, it's a game of an era. It doesn't really age too well. But but yeah, no, I'm all for the classic when it comes out.
So from the Blizzard article, in Season of Discovery, players will discover new secrets by scouring Azeroth to find class-altering abilities. Tanking warlocks, mage healers, and more will be possible. See, that right there is pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're going to switch some shit up. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about.
So I don't know they'll do this, and they might get shit if they tried it. If they make it where hey, if you do this one thing, this weird classic, and it gives you an account bonuses, yo, you'll get this mount in retail, that'd be legit as fuck.
You think there would be crossover like that, though?
I think that'd be a benefit to do that. Just because
I think it'd be a benefit for them to do it.
Oh, 100%. For sure. If it was hey, you get to 25, you get this, I'm fuck. Yeah. Even if I didn't want it, I guess I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's a direct path on getting rewards and something else.
Right. So it continues with, the season will launch with an initial level cap of 25, which is what we were talking about. And upon reaching max level, players will be met with a new level 25 endgame! Discover a 10-player Black Fathom Deeps raid with new and reimagined bosses, mechanics, and rewards. Not long after, the level cap will be increased by a few levels, bringing even more endgame content. So what you're saying is basically you're going to hit endgame 25, and then they're basically taking like one of your first dungeons in WoW, and they're going to redesign it for a 10-player raid.
Yes, I think it's the first one is Black Fathom Depths, right? Yeah, or Deeps. I think what they're going to do is like they've done stuff like in the past in retail, they retool stuff, but I don't know what that actually means for this. Like, there's only certain like the way those little maps were designed, and I don't know how much they want to tweak stuff. There's a limit on what you can do without redoing it. Like,
especially if you're going to have to as they say, reimagine bosses for classes that they never even thought of back then, like a tanking warlock.
Yeah, so
which I mean,
just like some of these little like tooltips I was reading, they're making it where like they're giving like druids a heal that puts like a chromatic like damage thing, like stuff that was like way different. Like there was nothing remotely close to that. So
as a druid, I am just full send right now.
Yeah. And I was reading another thing. It's like the like Icelands, which like they're adding stuff that was added way later.
Yeah.
But they're giving it to classic kind of now, which so we'll see some really weird stuff. And
I'm pretty hyped about that. I'm not gonna lie. It says they said it comes out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, which is crazy in itself. Like,
so I think me and Mr. Brand will probably be on that.
Oh, for sure.
We'll probably have more to say around the
videos
time.
while we do it.
Yeah, for sure. So continuing with BlizzCon today, we had the announcement of retail expansion, and not just one expansion, 3 expansions. The World Soul Saga.
Yeah, it's after 10 years of Thrall trying to get the Infinity Stones to put into his glove.
I think we're in a multiverse of some sort now.
That's actually, like, even though you joke about it, that's actually what's happening apparently. Like, I don't know.
So where did we end off on?
When we played, I'm not sure. I think that the Chrono Dragons were upset. And then there was some guy from the Earth that was angry, and his 2 elemental buddies came back. But that was 2 patches ago, so I have no idea what's going on. I'll probably mess with it coming back here in a couple months. But
true.
That's our normal routine. It's the holidays.
That it is. So instead of just announcing 1 expansion, they decided to announce 3. Yep. We have the War Within, which they showed the trailer off today, which we'll talk about here in a second.
The second one's Papa Midnight.
And the last expansion was The Last Train to Titan.
Yeah, remember the Titan.
Yeah, or the
last one that it was there.
So one thing that we were talking about earlier was the idea of thinking ahead as the Azerite powers, different mechanics that just get dropped off from one expansion to the next expansion, and how you're just leaving shit that you're supposed to care about behind.
Yeah, spend 6 months to develop a mechanic to get
grind it out.
Yeah, and you actually like it. Like, oh, we're going to remove that in the expansion. Like, so cool. It's not what I want.
Not that we liked Azerite power. Just an example.
Yeah. So.
But I do like the idea of like thinking at least a little ahead,
like evergreen content, which it won't just recycle out and it's done. It's like moving forward, and it's going to be adding on to the one thing. I think it was called was it hero abilities or hero talent trees?
They did talk about the hero talents, which we can get into, which was basically your player is going to be 71 to 80. 80 is the new level cap. There was going to be hero talents. I think they showed a little UI, it's like a triad concept UI, right? Yeah. And they threw it in the middle. I think
it was made off PowerPoint at like an hour before the conference.
It was a sick PowerPoint. Yeah. You see those slides? So we watched the trailer for, I think it's for The War Within, or was it just, it is for The War Within. Yeah. And holy shit, was that an amazing looking trailer.
Yeah, most people, like half the people probably thought it was like real people, like live action.
I mean, immediately when I was walking into the room and it was on the TV, I was like, I hope they didn't make this real.
Yeah. But it gets to a point where it's just kind of like, when it gets to that point where it looks real, do we also hate it because it looks that real? Because this looks sick as hell. It looks real and I still thought it was cool. Like,
yeah, I mean, the cinematic department always goes fucking ham.
Oh, yeah.
The best in the business. It's unreal how Anduin looks, even the sand,
Yeah.
everything from like the scratches on his nose, on his brow.
Blemishes, yeah. It's crazy because it's like, ironically, that the top 2 CG companies both have the top 2 MMOs. Square Enix and Blizzard both create insane cinematics. Like, every time it's like, oh yeah, they're really good at these. So
I mean, what's next from this? It's just real life.
yeah.
And real life still doesn't look this good.
Yeah, it actually looks worse.
I know. We're like, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. I wear glasses and it's like, it's still blurry. Why is it? Yeah.
So this is going to be the next expansion. They didn't really talk about a timeline, did they?
No, it is coming out next year, like end of next year. But I don't know, like, does it mean like each expansion's every 2 years, or is it each expansion like 1 year? I think it'd be really cool if it's like the saga is a major expansion every year.
What if the saga is like smaller expansions in a shorter amount of time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know the actual time frame, but I think with that, like knowing it's around the corner, you kind of like mentally prep yourself. Like, hey, I'm not going to drop off on this because in 3 months the next thing's there.
Yeah,
because I would say that for marketing purposes, it's easier to market like a new expansion / DLC versus like Dragonflight 10.2.
Right.
Like no one cares about that. But if you attach a name to it, like that kind of gives it power.
And that is something that Final Fantasy does with all of their patches, especially in recent memory.
Yeah, they do like a name.
Yeah, so like 10.5643 is called like Bright Memory.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, all right. This is kind of a big patch.
The number that doesn't matter.
Yeah, this is kind of a big one, right?
They added farming with his minions.
Yeah. So also with this, we had something that we thought was pretty cool, which was the delves. And with the delves, they were the 1 to 5 player runs, just basically like a dungeon of some sort that contribute overall to the Great Vault, which is your weekly progression to like the best gear.
Yeah, that's
that you
cool.
Can get that's not like from raids and whatnot.
It's a more casual pacing to gear up.
Yeah,
which some people hate because they're like, oh, you made it too easy, but 90%
aspect of like a single player aspect of it, right? Is because like sometimes I don't want to jump into what it was the raids when they open it up to the public.
The
LFG.
Yeah, it's looking for raid. Where it's like you can be kind of mindless and at least I don't know,
to a certain extent.
Dragonflight's first one was kind of intense.
Yeah.
Like that may be actually harder on looking for raid than the real ones. So the normal.
I think it's like that's what Final Fantasy did, is made their whole game playable single player.
Yeah.
And
just recently,
yeah, and I don't think that that's a bad thing, because I think it can cater to a wider audience, and then maybe if people don't want to get into a larger group, or maybe they're newer and don't feel comfortable, maybe eventually it can get them into it, like a gateway drug.
Yeah, I would say like the whole like playing the whole game single player, I think it's a kind of wait and see vibe on that, because I would say when MMOs made games more casual, it did kind of butcher communities, you know, like because you didn't need to group up anymore. You didn't know anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
But the only thing I think 14 kind of has where it works is because the community is so close, because it's one character.
Yeah.
So it kind of like solves that problem, which other games kind of usually run into later.
Yeah,
so we'll see. Agree. But I think it's a positive thing most of the time. But once again, I don't know how that plays out until give it a year and then we'll see. So.
Right. I think it's also cool for the fact that maybe, say, you're playing and maybe you have people that you run with, and then like over time they fall off, or maybe they can't be around for the week or something, and it still gives you the opportunity to, you know, get some of that vault loot. Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Because I just did the PvP stuff because I could do that solo. You know, I could just do solo shuffle this many times and do it, and that's it.
Or you could yell at me.
Yeah.
To learn how to play before I start crying in a corner.
But yeah, so that's the reason I did like that, just because I didn't want to do the raids, and I did, but not for gear. I wanted to experience them, not so much the gear side. So I'm more about cosmetics and looking cool than the numbers attached to them.
Yeah, I'm all about that number, baby. I don't care either way. I just want something that I can play and have fun with.
Yeah.
All right, so the last and what I think is probably the biggest announcement that actually secretly dropped yesterday, if you pre-ordered it, is the Warcraft Rumble, which is World of Warcraft. They've been talking about this game for a little bit. Is the mobile game that's kind of like a Clash of Clans, Clash of Titans,
Clash Royale,
one of those fucking
one of the Clash of the Titans, I think. it goes back into WoW's
Last
theme.
Titan,
So.
Train to the Last Titan,
yeah.
It seems okay. Like I'm always looking for a mobile game because I've never found one.
Yeah, I'd say like I've tried probably like 100 and only like 2 are good.
Yeah,
so.
Especially for that fact, like, you know what? I kind of want to get in bed and maybe I'll play a little bit of this game a little bit.
Yeah, and plus it's kind of like, it's running off of nostalgia and like the IP of Warcraft. So it's like, hey, I care about these. Yeah, I care about these characters. So, and like the sounds they make and stuff. Like,
and it's still going to be quality.
Yeah, like
regardless if the game is fucking shit or something.
that team's kind of, or at least the studio themselves they've locked up games forever and they were almost done. So yeah, I don't think they've released stuff unless it's actually at least polished up, at least on the art side and audio.
Yeah,
but mechanically, that's debatable if you like it or not. So,
we'll be opening up our guild soon, so we'll post it in the link in the description.
So you can carry us. Yeah,
but basically, I mean, it's typical, I guess, mobile app gaming. You can pay money to get gold, to get minis, to get levels, and all that, but. Regardless, I mean, we know what it is, and we're gonna have fun with it. So
it does look cool. I'm not gonna mess with it for sure.
So that was BlizzCon of 2023, day 1.
Yep, we got 2 more days.
We have 2 more days, and we're gonna be.
You listen to this, you may know all the information. So at least pretend like this is new.
Yeah, but you won't know it the way that we presented it.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's gonna be completely different. So, all right. Moving on from BlizzCon, the next thing that I had been thinking about this week that I kept seeing here and there, didn't really know much about it.
And you still don't, maybe.
And I still don't, yeah. And I hope I don't learn more about it because the little that I do know, it pisses me off, is the new Silent Hill.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Whatever it is exactly what this segment should be called. So obviously Silent Hill is an IP that has been around since we were kids.
Yep. Like 98, right? 97.
Yeah. I mean, like along the lines of Resident Evil. Yeah. And it had, I think, more of a cult following.
Yeah.
Say like Resident Evil, because it wasn't so much there's a 2 and a 3, even though there was.
But. I always thought it had like a more spooky vibe,
Yeah,
like
spoopy.
Yeah, spoopy. Yeah. It wasn't about like, grotesque zombies. Well, it had weird stuff, but like, it was more about the creepiness side of it. So I never actually played it until years later. Did
you ever see the movie?
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. So.
I actually like the movie.
Yeah, I think most people like praise that. Like for a game movie, like it's kind of weirdly good. So
go ahead.
And like the Resident Evil stuff, they kind of compared those movies. Like, I guess it's flipped. The games,
Mia Jovovich or whatever her name is, Fifth Element chick, and that was about it.
I think Resident Evil 5 was her fighting monsters in a desert, and she had to get like a great sword or something like that.
So the Monster Hunter Resident Evil movie?
Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing, just Monster Hunter.
It actually looked exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it did, 100%.
So Konami, they have their Silent Hill franchise, and for the longest time, people have been wanting a Silent Hill, like fresh new remake of the game. We kind of got a little taste of one with Kojima and Guillermo del Toro doing the PT, which was supposed to be the prelude to what was going to be their fresh new Silent Hill game. Yeah. Unfortunately,
Norman
or fortunately, Norman Reedus with the Deletus fetus in the scene.
Yeah, PT is a prequel to Death Stranding.
Yes, it kind of was. I mean, well, I don't say it's a prequel, but I mean, it definitely was. Like Konami, basically, they had a divorce with him and Kojima, and then Kojima went and did Death Stranding. But so back to what we're getting at is Silent Hill. Konami decided to come up with a new game.
Yeah.
I put game in quotations because you don't actually play it.
Yeah, it's like, was it like the community plays it on Twitch or?
Yeah, it's not even Twitch. So
Oh yeah,
it's a mobile app that you can download to watch. It's like a Netflix series,
yeah,
and it's daily, but it's all like CG. It's like shitty CG.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like the good cutscenes in a game.
Yeah.
It's like the game, but you can't play it.
Mm.
So it's basically they took all of the mobile game stuff, which is the dailies, getting your battle pass, spending money.
Yeah.
Except they took gameplay.
Yeah, the only good part about it that's like, you know what? Let's take this part where they're not spending money and get rid of it and just put this money spending portions back in. And the one thing I don't understand is like, the community, everyone can vote.
Right.
Once there's like 70,000 votes for something, I don't think anyone else is like, hey, if I spend $1,000, maybe that number's gonna get bumped down. Like it is.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that because there's a couple things that brings up. One of those things is you can spend money to earn more what they call influence points, IP, which allows you to influence the scene about what's happening more than a normal person playing the game. Not only that, as you said, if there's 70,000 people, well, it turns out that happened on their first episode. And they had to turn off chat because there was too much talk about ejaculation.
At least there was some productivity in the process.
I hope at least somebody came in chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
But it looks like the worst part about what a mobile game or games have become with the whole pay to win, the whole like battle pass, like all of the shit like in those free MMOs that they have with like 8 different currencies and you never know which one is which and what goes where. It's like
a bingo card of like the last 10 years worst ideas in a game.
This has to be it has to have like at least 8 of them.
Yeah. It just doesn't have the fun part or playing part.
Yeah, and it's not even like there's a game series called like Dark Anthology.
Yeah.
To where it's this but you're walking around with the controller, like you're controlling the character, and then as decisions pop up, you're the one making the decision. Here, you're watching a shitty movie, and then a bunch of jackasses are just chatting, and then a decision comes up and says, "Is Rachel going to have this baby?" And then you're like, I don't know, 65% of people said she ain't gonna have it.
I think that was the episode of Friends in 1999. So it's kind of funny because I was like, even though this does like it clearly looks terrible. There's some things like to be said that they had this many people actually involved playing it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But if they had like thousands and thousands, like you can't, like, even if it's a bad idea, it's like, well, it kind of worked because it's like, hey, this dumpster fire, come check this out. And you know, people have spent money on it.
And we're talking about it.
Yeah. Like I would love to see the metrics on that. Watch it have like printed so much money. Like, yo, we don't got to make games anymore.
I will say that this won't last even what they call a season. Apparently they're doing a show every night at 9. I mean, if you have a 10-minute fucking cutscene as your show every night, I really don't understand. I mean,
well, usually, like I would say, that's probably not uncommon. But I just install Call of Duty and I get an 8-minute trailer or installing something every time I play. So I think the people, their audience, may be used to just staring at a screen for long periods of time. But
you did say, now if they had like 70,000, whatever, we're just throwing out a number that were here, is it a success? But like, I think a lot of those people, apparently, since they had to shut down the chat, are just like trolling it because it's such a fucking terrible idea.
Yeah.
I feel like a Netflix mom, no offense to mothers, but like a Netflix mom created this for gamers and hadn't played a game ever.
I would like, I almost hope it was the case, but it's actually probably just like some executive dudes sitting 100%. In a room, like with like they probably never even played the Silent Hills. Like, hey, we have
It's
these,
a business guy.
yeah, we have these IPs that we need to do something with. Like, hey, let's remake Metal Gear 17,000 times, but we somehow can't give you Metal Gear Solid 4 because it's locked away in somewhere,
Yeah.
some vault. So yeah, I think it's Konami just finally cashing in because they
Guns
were.
of the Patriots. What was that?
That was Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots.
I liked that.
That was actually really cool because it
Yeah.
kind of like tied everything together.
I like
it. Was
that
kind of
game.
crazy as hell. Like, yeah, he cropped this microwave with his arms broken or some shit.
Dude, that fucking intro when he's like riding on the horse outside, like getting away from the mental. Was that 5?
That's 5. That was
Guns of the Patriots.
No, was it 4?
I thought that it was the PS4 version.
That's Phantom Pain.
Phantom Pain?
I don't know.
Phantom Liberty?
Yeah, well, 4 was the one that's locked away.
Okay.
5 is the one that's on like
all right. Well,
open world. But they haven't made anything since that game.
We understand. So back to this silent catastrophe. I don't understand. So this is going to be maybe a reach, but during quarantine, do you remember like that trivia game that was so popular? And the host, he would host the trivia shit every night.
Every day it'd be like a thing.
Right.
And you could win like the money for it.
You could win.
Like how much you like.
Yes.
Wasn't like $1 entry or something like that? There's something weird behind.
I didn't think it was an entry. I thought it was
where
just
the hell
like
does
an
money
app.
come
No,
from?
you just download the app. Well, your information is the money. You have I'm serious. You have to like sign up with your name.
Scan your fingerprint.
You have to give your name, your email, your address. That is their money.
Or it's like they have like one ad that pays for it. Yeah,
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah. But to me, this is like they saw that a couple of years ago when everybody was in quarantine and kind of, okay, what if we have this chat interaction that like it's a game, but you don't get to play the game at all. In fact, you don't really do anything but just click things and buy.
Yeah,
it's like a slot machine that's not even fun for like your
dopamine.
Yeah, your dopamine
doesn't even happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I'm waiting for that to happen, but it never happens.
No,
yeah.
and it looks like you get to play these puzzles. That's the game, and they're like bejeweled with weird runes, and you get to play these to earn the influence points, just so you can use them to try to influence what happens in the show. But somebody can pay money to just buy them and then change the show how they want.
Hey, as like that wise person said to you once in Counter-Strike, some of us aren't poor.
Yeah.
Most everyone is, but that's what Konami is aiming for. They're aiming for the non-poors.
I just don't understand. They're like, who's their audience?
The 2%.
You can customize a character, apparently.
Yeah.
They look like, I don't know, they look like a PS3 character from fucking, I don't know, Jet Moto or something.
Jet Moto.
I don't know. It's just, I don't understand what this is about.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna see how this plays out, and I hope they keep shutting the chat down because people will keep talking about ejaculation the whole time. I mean, if you're going to give player choice to players that aren't playing anything, then give them the choice to ejaculate all over these monsters. That's what I say.
Yeah, I think it's actually already a Steam game. It's already new and trending, but it's always the sequel. It's always like you never see the base game of those. It's always the new and trending is the sequel game. So yeah.
Come on, Christ 3.
Yeah, Jesus. Why you did it like in the voice of the Resident Evil guy?
Yeah. Well, it's because we're talking about Silent Hill. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you're right though. You never see the first or second one, but when you see that third one pop up on the Steam charts, you're like, "Damn, the series must be pretty good."
Yeah, Lizard Licking 3. All right, cool.
Lizard Licking 3.
Yeah.
All right, so everyone, go check out Silent Hill Ascension: The Essentials, which the name in itself drives me nuts.
I thought that was the subtitle for the video, not the actual game.
No, it's actually called Ascension.
Ascension.
But the Essentials is the video. Okay, so
okay.
It's Silent Hill Ascension. So go download it, spend your money to influence what happens on the next episode, and keep typing in ejaculate and get them to shut it down. This is great.
That's true.
And now is the time we're going to look up at the biggest upcoming game releases for the month of November.
Of all time.
Of November of this year.
Yep.
So right off the bat, we have RoboCop.
Yeah.
Rogue City.
Rogue City. Do you know the theme song for that? Yeah.
Isn't it like
You're
some
welcome.
guy made the MIDI of it and then they actually used it in the movie?
Probably, yeah.
I think I saw that when this demo was actually becoming popular.
Also, a weird bit of info. My stepdad worked on the first one without knowing.
What do you mean without knowing?
He had to paint a wall that was apparently in the movie set. They're like, hey, we need you to paint this area over here. Like, all
Was
right,
he just
cool.
like walking by?
He was just like in Dallas, and they're just like, hey, we need the stuff painted. He's like, all right. And like, he just did it.
They gave him some Robo-Bucks.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh,
Roblox.
shit.
Roblox.
Roblox?
Was it Robux?
How do you not know? I didn't know that was just painted. There was a robot that was walking around shooting people.
Yeah. So they actually filmed it in Dallas to
Nice.
be Detroit because they didn't want to be in Detroit to
I
film
mean,
a movie.
Who does?
So-
Well, if we could hear that theme song again from your mouth.
I don't know actually how accurate that is, but
Beautiful. I love it. So, have you seen anything about this game?
no, it has RoboCop in it.
So, it actually looks like Fallout 3. But you're like with the, the green like text, like the Pip-Boy text everywhere.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. And you just like shoot everything.
Sweet.
You
It's
just,
probably gonna sell 10 million copies. Just that alone description.
I mean, from what I was hearing when the demo first came out during like the Steam demo days, it was actually well received.
Yeah, like if you watched a few clips of it, and I was like, yeah, this actually kind of looks legit. Like, but you never know until it actually comes out. Like, a lot of things look pretty until you actually play it, and it's a different story entirely.
I mean, that's with people too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to the next big release of November of all time of this year, which is WarioWare Move It.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever played a WarioWare game
I think
before?
I've played every single one thus far.
Okay, explain WarioWare to those listening that have no idea what I'm talking about.
Imagine you have a lot of indie devs get together and make a game, and then you combine all of them since they're not full games, and you make a game out of that.
So a game out of a lot of games.
Yeah, and they're like 80% of them don't have enough there to actually be a full game.
So like little mini games.
It's like, hey, pick a nose. You're like, all right.
it's
so,
clogged. You got to
yeah.
pick it.
Hey, pay $50 to digitally pick your nose, and
What I always thought was awesome about WarioWare to me is like it's the most ADD game ever.
kind of yeah.
It is like really fast, yelling at you, super visual, in your face, random bullshit for the next 15 seconds.
And
then
anxiety,
it's-
of like the timer. It's
Yeah.
attached to a bomb.
Yeah.
So
Out of nowhere, and it just hits you, and it's
Yeah.
like, gotta pull the bomb out of the butt. No, go.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh God, the bomb's in the butt. And then your friend's like, pull the bomb out of the
Yeah.
butt. And then the next thing you know, like you're playing a violin to a cat.
oh yeah, they do have that. Or like the jump over this car,
Yeah.
and the car jumps the same time you do, so you die.
Of course it does.
Yeah, no, it was actually really cool. It's such a great idea of a game.
So the next game we're going to focus on as the biggest release ever of this month of this year is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Which is the sixth the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 6.
So this is the remake, or is it
No.
a new? It's a
no,
new.
this is 3.
of the
They did a
6.
remaster of Call of Duty 2 that wasn't officially Call of Duty 2 Modern Warfare 2.
Okay.
That was attached to the first Modern Warfare 1.
Okay.
And this is actually Modern Warfare third.
I see that Captain Price is still in there. Are people
Yeah.
still liking him?
I don't know. Because because it's like every time like I think like yeah, this is the game where like he dies or something.
He never dies.
And then like he's just
Captain Price.
Yeah, he's just in the next game. So yeah,
I'm about causing chaos and shooting up buddies.
Chris Hemsworth, that's him. But no,
I know that the zombie mode apparently pissed off a lot of fucking people.
Zombies,
Yeah.
were they like offended?
No, like not zombies were offended. The zombie mode, gameplay mode in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was pissing off a lot of people because they made it like an open world.
Oh, what the hell?
They made it like a Warzone type, except with zombies.
Wait, are you talking about the Warzone mode zombies?
No, I'm talking about the new zombie mode. It's just on a larger scale instead of like, you know, back in the day it was like Call of Duty Zombies. Yeah, you're in a shed, you find the puzzle, it expands. You move on. You got boards. You put up walls.
Yeah, it's very methodical.
Build.
Yeah, and then climb, make a tower.
Yeah,
ramps.
make a tire, ramps, build, ramps, walls.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard about it, but I didn't really see any videos regarding that. But yeah, we'll see.
So next up, we got a lot of Boruto, Persona. We're going to skip over all that crap.
Going back to Persona real quick, though.
Okay, never mind. We're going back to Persona.
Not so much this game, but like...
By the way, it's Persona 5 Tactica.
Tactica. Yeah, but I would say, are we getting to a point where when they make a franchise, like an IP, they're like, hey, we're going to have to make like 6 different RPGs off this one IP? Like, instead of making Persona 5 and then like 6, like now we're making Persona 5 with 7 different side games.
And I still don't know any of them.
Yeah, so like, are we getting to a point where like you're going to get like a side game exhaustion? You know, like...
Yeah, I mean, I think we got that like from a lot of different shit, for sure.
It's...
Even like Marvel movies. That's
what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it's the same kind of vibe. And because of that, like, if Persona 5 came out and then like this came out like 3 or 4 years later, I might like, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot and see what it's like. But I feel like there's a Persona 5 something every like 6 months.
I agree.
It feels that way at least.
Have you played a Persona?
I actually played Persona 5 when it came out, and I got exhausted because I had to go to my job and as a coffee person instead of the class I had to go to.
A barista?
You're a coffee man.
Barista.
No, you're not a barista legally.
A barista? Is that
you're
a man?
A barista junior because you're only like 14 or I don't know your age.
I think I have Persona 3 Golden for the PS Vita.
Yeah.
And I remember the music in that was amazing.
It's same as this.
I don't understand anything that's ever going on.
Yep.
I didn't at the time. I still don't. And here's another Persona game. Awesome. I'm happy for those that like Persona.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. I wish I could enjoy things.
Oozing with style. So.
I mean, just the music itself. I listen to the music. I won't play the game.
Yeah.
If you told me like your life depends on it, I still probably wouldn't. But now one of the big, super mega big releases that both of us are super excited about, and I keep saying super on purpose, it's Super Mario RPG. Rippig.
Yeah.
Super Mario Rippig, which is the remake of the original 1996 Super Mario RPG and the Legend of the Seven Stars. One of my favorite games. I've played it almost every year on my Super Nintendo that I still have, that I hook up to my giant fucking TV, and it looks like shit, but I love every moment.
Because it's not a CRT.
Yeah.
So it looks worse on a...
It does. It looks so much worse.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember during quarantine, that was one of my favorite things. I just like, I have all the time in the world. I might as well just play one of my favorite games of all time. So yeah, so they're going to remake this game. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a full remake from the ground up.
I think it's using Unreal Engine because I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo mandated that most of their games Unreal Engine.
Really? Yeah. A Nintendo game using Unreal.
Say Yoshi's like yarn or whatever. I think was it Yoshi's Yarn? Yeah, like the look weird cutesy. Yeah, I think that game was the first game. Yeah, it was the first Unreal Engine game. And they're like, hey, we should use another engine instead of ours. And it saves time. And it looks great, so... Yeah,
I'm honestly very excited about this for multiple reasons, but I think it's along the lines of what we were talking about earlier with the WoW Classic and, nostalgia and just having something that's built from like a full refresh remake that has the same charm as it did but catering to the audience that's now 40 years old
and modernizing it as well.
Exactly.
Like they hear the features really kind of like they're adding like you remember in Final Fantasy X where you can swap out characters.
Yes.
So they're adding that to this one.
Really?
So like you're not stuck with a 3. You can swap characters out. Because I remember when I was younger, I always felt guilty. I'm like, I have to swap out Mallow because Peach exists. You know, like, and I think it's some really cool modern features to it that's gonna take it to the next level where it kind of matches more modern RPGs.
One of my favorite things about it was obviously the active time battle system, and I don't know why games like RPG turn-based games didn't pick up on that. Like
they just stopped doing it.
They stopped. Like nobody did it, and then it took like there was kind of a few, like one of the Sea of Stars game that came out recently, which was like the 2D turn-based. It has those elements in it, which makes the turn-based combat so much better. But that was one of my favorite things about Super Mario RPG was timing the hits.
Yep, and it was kind of added to like. Instead of just being all about stats, it was about paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
Because, some games have where it's like, just turn on 4x speed mode and just hold A. Yeah, so.
Like if you were to play, the original Final Fantasy VII today. Just turn on speed mode just to go through the fucking
just
battles.
Power through it, yeah.
But yeah, we got Geno, Mallow.
Bowser.
You get to be
Peach.
Bowser, Peach.
Spoilers, in case you didn't.
If you haven't played it since 1996, I really don't feel bad for you. But yeah, and then the mini games, of course, which one of the mini games we've actually
tried to make
is some indie developers, which is the Beatlemania.
I never thought about that. Like we're gonna play if they redo it for this.
They have to redo Beatlemania,
but like seeing it like a legit, like this is like.
It's kinda, like what we did.
Yeah, but didn't. Yeah.
Just like everything. Yeah, no, I can't wait. I hope the modernization of it is just it's gotta click just right.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's gonna be that turn-based to where like the nostalgia, once that kind of wears off and you're like 8 hours into the game, I hope that it still can have those little fun magic moments that brought us into it, to where it was like those unique kind of weird, quirky storytelling aspects of, Super Mario RPG, which made it like different than other Super Mario games, which I think why it was so special for a lot of people. Like going up Bowser's tower and the whole elevator scene and like fighting a fucking sword and like
what was that one dude? I think it was not Beetle. What was that guy like with the beard? And he'd like go up his little like castle, and you would go behind the curtains. You'd turn to like a 2D.
Yeah.
I remember like that song like stuck in my head. Game. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely like the top holiday game for me.
Yeah, can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. So moving on, let's see what other games we got coming out this month. All right, looks like nothing. Sweet. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess that's we're looking on a list here, and I guess the biggest ones would probably be, RoboCop is going to be fairly decently big.
You have some stuff in there like the what Turok 3 Shadow of Oblivion remastered. What's that?
Oh God.
I'm more impressed.
We need an original Turok, by the way. A full remake.
It was like
did they?
It was like 2013. No one played it.
I know like Prey was supposed to be like when Prey was remastered, it had like elements. Wasn't it? There was something about like being like a similar company or something. I don't fucking know.
Like a claim or something. Yeah.
Oh shit, we even missed the biggest one, which is a whole topic on itself, which is The Day Before.
Yeah.
Which actually is now rescheduled for a beta, or I guess it's a release, is going to be December 7th.
Yeah.
They just came out with the trailer yesterday or the day before.
So do you notice anything about that? Did you watch it?
I did. I watched it.
They toned down the graphics a lot. I was like, okay, now it's believable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember watching the original video. I'm like, that's not doable.
Yeah. So it's like a survival ETF style of The Division.
Yeah,
is what it looks like. So a little bit more like Extraction, but you're also PvP, PvE. But yeah, they lost their name due to not a DMCA, but like a copyright dispute.
Yeah. But they got it back, right?
Yeah, they just got it back. Yeah. It was the most listed game on Steam, and then they lost their name, so it got taken down from Steam. It got put back up. Then they released a trailer just yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if it pans out and it looks like it could do what I always wanted Division to be like. But I'll say, like, hey, if it comes out and it's like lets me play a demo and it's good, I'll give it a shot. But once again,
I'll play the beta.
Yeah, demo or beta, I'll see based off of that.
In April, the beta was announced, and I think it'll be playable in December. It was supposed to release in 7 days.
Yeah, so it's not doable.
There was no way that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll release in December. I think an early access maybe will come early next year. But to be honest, I don't know why that game is hyped. I see it and I see nothing. I move on.
Yeah, I would say, like, I don't know. It's not really on this list, but when is the finals supposed to release?
Okay, so that brings up, I saw you playing the finals.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So there's like...
what is the finals?
The finals is pretty much the good, or that's kind of mean to say, but some veteran DICE people that made Battlefield that left and made their own game. You know how that can go. You don't know if it's like one guy that can, or it's like 20. But playing the game feels like if it's just Battlefield renamed, which is not a bad thing.
But it's like...
It feels like the actual mechanics of movement and actions feels like Battlefield.
It looks super fast.
Which is good. Like, it feels like really solid. Like, the actual
it's
shooting...
like a 3v3v3 or something, right?
Yes.
With like different classes.
3v3v3 v3. I think it's 4 teams.
Okay, with like different classes, you can be like fat, skinny, or
it's like in real life. Like, and then if you're fat enough, just like in real life, you can run through a wall like really hard and just appear in your neighbor's house
and take bullets.
Yeah, and you loot their vaults.
Oh, sick. Okay,
but it's actually really good. Surprisingly, when I play betas or any capacity, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a shit show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say for me, I actually like more like a game's design was very tight, like 3v3, like that plays to my competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would like it to be a battle royale with 100 people, but I think because it's so like it's a smaller map with like 4 teams. You get in like these skirmishes that are very much like a battle royale.
Yeah.
But it's happening so often, like you'd never feel bored. But the vibe is the same.
It seems really fucking quick.
Yeah, I would say
like almost twitchy kind of
shit. I would say it's like in between like Call of Duty and Battlefield with a mix of like Fortnite in the sense like you can destroy shit and like. But yeah, I would say if you don't have a good PC, you're probably shit out of luck. Because I have a 3080, and there's some moments when it kind of started like
chugging.
Yeah. So, but I look forward to it. I think for being a new IP and like kind of a veteran team of DICE, like, it feels solid. I would be surprised if it doesn't do well. It was fun.
Well, nice. Yeah, I'm not sure when it's supposed to come out. It's not on the list anywhere for the next few months, but we could probably see it pop up anytime soon.
It could be a game early access for 3 years and just go that route. So.
True. All right. Well, just want to say thank you for listening.
Thanks.
This is the Joystick Boys once again. Me, Jason.
Me, Brendan. Me, Brandon.
Me, Brendan.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening. We're going to try to pump these out as much as we can. And let us know, give us some feedback, and we'll go from there. So appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful evening, night, morning, wherever you are.
Yep.
And take care.
If you can, depending on what platform this is, leave comments if you like a segment, and we'll go from there. Change everything according to that.
Yeah, we'll change everything. According to what you have to say.
Yeah. You know what? We like that Silent Hill.
Yeah, we like the Silent Hill. We're going to come up with the influence points, and you guys can just change the way our show goes.
Send us enough money, sure.
Jesus. All right, well, thanks for listening. Peace out.
Peace.